I'm gonna take you on a wild journey to discover the incredible world of the Andean Condor. And by the end, you'll know exactly why it's considered the biggest vulture on our planet. If you're one of our viewers over in South America, then you will already be well aware of this giant bird. The Andean Condor is significant not only because it has one of the largest wingspans in the world, but also because of its cultural significance to places like Chile, Colombia, Bolivia, and Ecuador, where it is their national bird. This condor is said to be a symbol of power and health, closely linked to the sun deity. If you've ever wanted to explore the Incan Empire and find out about their vast history, you won't be able to escape this bird. It's embedded not only in the culture but also in the art and even the medicine of the area. Machu Picchu, one of the famous Incan landmarks, is said to be shaped like one of these birds. These big birds are raptors, meaning they are large birds of prey that fly down and scoop up their dinner. In this case, as a part of the vulture family, the Andean condor mostly eats carrion, which is the polite term for dead things. They can often be found on the dead bodies of cows, deer, and sheep, gathering around to eat. That doesn't mean they won't take to eating something living though, and can be seen hunting small animals. You wouldn't think that a creature that eats dead bodies would be associated with a long life. But the Andean condor is well known for its longevity, sometimes living as long as 70 years. Whilst it all sounds gross to us, it's an incredibly important job eating dead bodies, as it stops diseases spreading. Let's go through the life cycle of one of these incredible birds. High up on a cliffside in Peru is where our story begins. These are where Andean condors tend to lay their eggs. As vultures, they know that there are hunters who are opportunists and would happily snatch up an egg if given the chance. So keeping eggs out of the way from their grabby paws is a necessity. This nest belongs to Diego and Andrea, two Andean condors. Both of them are about 10 years old. This sounds old for a bird, but these condors don't become mature until they are between 6 and 8 years old, with food and environmental factors delaying when some of the changes they go through happen. The parents both take an active role in incubating and caring for the eggs. Andean condors mate for life and take on equal shares of the child-rearing work. The eggs take 54 to 58 days to hatch, or about 2 months. Today is the day that the babies are hatching. Out pops Maria and Luis, two tiny condors, ready to start their lives as one of the biggest birds in the skies. For now though, they're about the size of a tennis ball, can't fly, and can't hunt for themselves. Diego and Andrea will be looking after these fluff balls for about 2 years before they're ready to look after themselves. For now, that means both mom and dad will need to go out hunting to get enough food for the family. Today, it's Diego's turn, and he knows exactly where to go. A farm has had some animals die recently, as farms sometimes do, and the carcasses are being left out, a perfect meal for his little family. Flying down there, Diego starts eating, readying himself to bring some home. But something isn't right. There isn't much that can hurt a vulture. Their stomach acid is close to that of a car battery, and they are more than happy to get into a fight to defend themselves. But even so, there are things that can get through their defenses. One of those things is poison, something some farmers across the globe are using more of to ward off pests like foxes. But unfortunately, vultures get caught in the crossfire and pay the consequences. Unfortunately, today is the day that Diego discovers this. Back at the nest, Andrea is still caring for the chicks. With Diego gone, she is the sole parent and needs to get to work getting them the food they need. Without enough food, the chicks won't make it. But she can't be away from them for too long, or the chicks could get an unwelcome visit from a raven or an eagle. As a single mom, she does an excellent job, and it's not long until the chicks are fledglings. Learning to fly can be challenging at the best of times, let alone when your home is on the edge of a cliff. Still, it's a necessary skill, one that Luis is desperate to learn. He's practicing his moves every day, copying Andrea. Maria is a little less enthused about the idea of jumping off the side of their nest and into the ravine below. Nature, however, won't give them much of a choice. A raven has spotted them. Andrea is away getting food, and the chicks aren't big enough to fight off something like this yet. Their only chance of escape is to fly. Thankfully, they both make it. Andrea feeds them, and now they have additional food from the raven. Now the chicks can fly. Andrea will teach them how to forage and hunt until they fly away when they are 2 years old to be independent and find their own pair and have their own chicks. It's not just farmers and ravens that take out these big birds though. Whilst a healthy adult Andean condor has no natural predators, we humans are still somewhat of a threat to them. Between habitat loss, conflict due to farming, and even some cultural rituals, the Andean condor is in danger of going extinct. This would be devastating not only for the local environment, but also for the people and cultures who love these birds so much. It could also be a problem for humanity at large, as without these birds eating carrion, there will be many diseases that are able to spread to us. And we really don't want to find out if a pandemic can come from carrion. Thankfully, the Andean condor has people on their side, looking to help them. Local groups are working to not only educate the public on why these magnificent creatures are good for the people and the land, they are also creating and running programs that help rear baby Andean condors, rescue condors in distress, and release them back into the environment so they can go on to make more Andean condors. Even once the birds are released, the story isn't over, as they will attach GPS tracking collars to the birds so they can keep an eye on them and gather data that could help more Andean condors in the future. There are also efforts to save the habitat of these animals and find ways that farmers can deter pests without harming vultures. Still, there are other threats that will take longer to solve. Cultural rituals that require the Andean condor are not easy to stop, and there is a question over if they should be stopped because of the cultural significance to the people of the area. The other problem, though, comes from hunters. Condors are killed for their feathers, their meat, and the thought that they have medicinal qualities. If the hunting isn't curbed, there is no way for conservationists to keep increasing the number of condors. Still, people are working together to keep these incredible animals alive. And if you live in an area where they work, you might be able to get involved and help out too. If you don't though, there are still ways you can help reduce climate change and habitat loss. Recycle when you can. Look into the products you buy to see if they would contribute to habitat loss. And demand change from your local governance on climate issues. The Andean condor is an important animal for the environment, for the local culture, and for humans in general. Whilst the idea of animals eating carrion isn't pleasant, it's these intrepid cleanup crews that keep us all safe and healthy. The world would be a worse off place without them, so let's work together to keep them around. So, what did you think? Want to know more about the awesome animals around us? Click subscribe so you never miss a video, and share your best Andean Condor or Vulture stories in the comments. We've got many more stories on the way for you all, and we can't wait to see you next time on Careless Wildlife.